All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really specific piece of wisdom that's tied to a time of day we all know, twilight. It's a fascinating little precaution for the evening that has some pretty deep roots in prophetic tradition. So let's just jump right in with a big question. Why is dusk, that beautiful, kind of peaceful transition from day to night, why is it considered so important in certain spiritual traditions? Turns out it's seen as way more than just the sun going down. It's actually viewed as a major shift in the spiritual atmosphere itself. So we're going to unpack this specific precaution for twilight. It's a teaching that's all about this unique time of day, offering a bit of guidance on how to move through this transitional moment. See, in the Islamic tradition, this switch from day to night isn't just something to watch happen. It's a time that calls for a certain kind of awareness, for intentional action. It's a moment to be really mindful of both the world you can see and, well, the world you can't. So what exactly is the instruction? Let's get to the core of it. We're going to look at a specific warning for the evening, a piece of advice that's been passed down for centuries. Okay, so here's the instruction itself, and it comes from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He advises that as the evening starts to set in, you shouldn't let your animals and children go outside. Now, you're probably asking why. The tradition explains that this specific time is when mischievous spirits, or Shayateen, start to spread out. And that right there is the reason for this very clear guidance. And that brings us to this really key term, Shayateen. So what are they? In this context, Shayateen are described as unseen spiritual beings. You could call them mischievous Jinn. And according to the tradition, their activity really ramps up right at dusk. This idea is the foundation for the whole precaution. So the logic creates this really clear before and after. During the day, it's all good. Children and animals are considered safe outside. But as dusk starts to fall, the belief is that the whole environment changes. The shayateen are spreading out, and with that comes a potential for harm or mischief. So the advice is to bring the most vulnerable ones inside for protection. Okay, so that's the why. But what about the what to do? This is where the teaching goes from being just a piece of wisdom to something you can actually do every single day. So here are the 3 practical steps that come right from that guidance. First, and most direct, keep your kids and animals inside during that twilight period. Simple enough. Second, close your doors, but do it with intention by mentioning God's name, by saying Bismillah. And third, it's about illuminating your home, not just with physical light, but with the spiritual light of remembrance and prayer. So what's the outcome of doing all this? The teaching suggests there's a dual benefit here, something that goes way beyond just physical safety. We're talking about both protection and blessings. So on the one hand, this practice is a source of real physical safety for kids and animals, and it's also like a shield from unseen spiritual trouble. But on the other hand, it's also framed as a way to actively invite a kind of positive spiritual energy, known as barakah, right into your home. And what exactly is barakah? It's a really central concept in Islam. You can think of it as a divine blessing, a sense of abundance, grace, and spiritual well-being that flows into your life and your home. And it's believed to come from lining up your actions with divine guidance. So that simple act of closing a door with intention, it's not just mechanical anymore. It becomes a direct invitation for that positive energy. When you really think about it, what this teaching does is it transforms a simple, even mundane evening routine, bringing everyone inside, locking up the house, into something deeply meaningful. It's a spiritual practice. It injects a daily habit with this powerful sense of purpose and awareness. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about, no matter what your personal beliefs are. What simple daily actions in our own lives could hold a much deeper meaning if we just approach them with a little more intention? It's a powerful idea to chew on. Thanks for joining us.